What's going on, party people? Good to see you again. I'm Wyatt. If you're new here, I couldn't find a way to get my camera above the screen. The tripod only goes so high, so that's why you see that. Um, Anyways, today's a very special day, very cool day for me personally. The People Person podcast was on a brief hiatus. We had to build up some of our other shows. If you watch Batchmakers, if you're into the Bachelor world, thank you. If you watch Battleflix, you like movie trivia, thank you. The People Person podcast has always been a very broad and simplistic idea. Basically, I interview people who I think are cool. It's a selfish thing. I think this person's cool, so I want to talk to them. I want to get to know them better, and hopefully, you can learn something from them as well. Today, we have a very special guest, the youngest guest. This dude is 13 years old. That is 13 years old. I'll say it third time. 13 years old. He's making content. He wants to be an NFL analyst. He wants to talk Vikings football. And as a Vikings fan myself, I was blown away by this guy. So thank you guys. This is my own little simple thing that I like to do. So I appreciate you guys even watching this at all. If you like this, please subscribe to the channel. We got more stuff. Again, multiple shows here at Good Time. We're keeping this train moving in the right direction. And I'm very excited to bring the People Person podcast back. I think that's it. I'm gonna go. I don't know. I should probably drink water today. I haven't had any water, just coffee. I'm gonna do that. Go watch the video. Love you guys. Mwah. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the People Person podcast presented by Good Time Media. I am your host, Wyatt Metzger, and today I am joined by, I'm pretty sure is the youngest guest in show history, which I'm very excited about. JJ, the football analyst, JJVikings, whatever you want to go by, Viking super fan. JJ, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, doing amazing.
I appreciate you coming on here. Again, you're the youngest guest in show history. How old are you?
I am 13 years old.
13. Dude, that's so cool. I've been really excited to do this just because um, I'm a Vikings fan, diehard. Everyone listening to this knows that. And I'm on Vikings Twitter, which I'm sure you know can be hit or miss place. There's some animosity there, some anger, but there's also a lot of cool things. And I saw you pop up a few times throughout the season, and it's just really cool to see young people get involved in this. So I kind of want to go back to the very beginning. Why are you a Vikings fan? And I almost feel bad that you've been roped into this fanhood. It's not a fun life. Trust me, I got a few years on you. It's hard. It's a challenge. So why the Vikings? Why have you chose to go down this path?
Well, at 5 months old, my biological father passed away, and then my stepdad comes into the family. He was a diehard Vikings fan when he was a kid, so he introduced the sport of football to me, and then kind of I took it and ran with it, considering the fact that we were living in Minnesota at the time, and he was a big Vikings fan. He passed it on to me, so I used that to do what I do now.
That I relate to that. My dad grew up diehard Vikings fan, and he passed this curse on to me, and now I'm stuck with it, and we got to deal with it, and it'll be glorious when we one day reach the top, get that Super Bowl. Um, what I usually do with Vikings fans? I always trade horror stories because there's been a lot in our history as a franchise. Is there one that sticks out with you? Because usually, I think as a fan, you need that one heartbreaking loss or moment to really just cement your fanhood. Be like, I'm in this for life now. Was there that moment for you that, all right, I'm in it. This is the long run.
The loss to the Eagles in the NFC Championship game.
Yep.
So so I was only 7 years old, and I was living the dream. Still living in Minnesota, big Vikings fan. Everyone at school was a Vikings fan, and it was just like my team was doing so well. Case Keenum. There's also Stephon Diggs,
Mm-hmm.
prime Stephon Diggs, prime Adam Thielen, Jarius Wright too, Andrew
Mm-hmm.
Sandejo, prime Harrison Smith, Anthony Harris, Trey Waynes,
Kyle Rudolph.
Kyle Rudolph too. I
Yeah.
love Kyle Rudolph. I want to meet Kyle Rudolph.
Oh,
I
he's
do.
the man. He's got to be the coolest dude ever. He's awesome.
Yeah, he really is, and um, just guys like that. You know, I feel like many players on that Vikings team were also like big class acts, like great people outside of the sport, and people. The Vikings players, they just seemed really happy to just do what they were doing. They seemed happy to be there. That's very important, you know, and to have that energy while you're on the football field. To that energy can really uplift your team. And I think it's a kind of a sneaky way to win games, just to know that you're in this for each other, and to know that you want your team to win, and that you are willing to do whatever it takes to win. You know.
Yeah, and I remember that team. That was my senior year of high school, and obviously that game we had just come off the greatest moment probably of my life, the Minneapolis Miracle. I can't imagine what that was like being surrounded by Vikings fans. So I'm in Indiana, so everyone around me is a Colts fan. So I'm the only Vikings fan. So when that moment happened, I was really the only one who was like celebrating, taking it all in. Was that cool? Do you remember the Minneapolis Miracle and just being around friends, being around Vikings fans in that moment?
Well, I was with my family in the house, but after that game, we went to a party. You know, there was also a big
Yeah.
kind of African community. I have my heritage from Cameroon and in Central West Africa,
Awesome.
so kind of we went to a party, you know, and just like a kind of a family event. You know, we call ourselves
Mhm.
family, with those really close friends. But I'm really glad that I was able to go to that party in a good mood, a great mood. And
Yeah.
one of my best friends there was also a Vikings fan, and he mentioned the Minneapolis Miracle, and we were just talking about it, laughing about it, and of course, no one else could understand us.
Yeah. It is. It does feel like certain fans speak a different language almost. When I see a Vikings fan, like it's very rare for me to meet one here, but when I do, I could talk to them all night. I'm like, let's just name players, kind of like we just did. Just I could name players for days. I love it. It gets me excited.
Talk about
Um,
it. I live in Massachusetts, where I get crap from
yeah.
Patriots fans.
Oh man, I can't imagine Patriot fans. That's brutal. Oh yeah, you kind of get it now. Where when you're in the minority there, it's tough. It's tough. It always feels like you're swinging up, trying to defend your team much more than I'm sure it was when you were in Minnesota. At what point did you decide? All right, I love the Vikings. I want to talk about them. I'm gonna flip a camera on me and a microphone and start putting this out. Was there like a decision, or was this just always what you wanted to do?
I wanted to do a form of analysis, like some kind of form of analysis. I tried to do commentary when I was 10 years old. So I basically put the TV on mute and then do my own commentary, and while watching games, and I fumbled on a lot of words, so I wasn't able to do that. So I decided to try pregame, postgame analysis, and that worked. That works a lot better for me.
That's so cool. Now, how do you balance being a fan and staying neutral and like presenting the facts, being kind of playing both sides? Because for me, I could never do what you do because when a game's going on, I'm high, I'm low, I'm all my emotions are on my sleeves. I'm just like pouring out all emotions because I love this team. But you do a very good job of kind of staying neutral and presenting the facts and saying this is the reality of the Vikings right now. How do you balance that? How do you stay kind of neutral? Because, like you said, like we brought up earlier, Vikings Twitter and all football Twitter is very high, very low, very emotion based.
It's hard. Well, I feel like just kind of find a way to let people know that I still am a fan, but to also let people know that I can bring information with, like, when they need it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Again, I think a lot of like journalism and media has always been founded on the idea of being unbiased, where you want to be as neutral as possible. But I also think that's kind of impossible. Every kid grows up a fan of a certain team, and I think it's cool to see someone saying, "Hey, I am a Vikings fan, but I'm going to be honest with how this team is doing, what we need to work on, and kind of keep it real with the team." While also saying, yeah, I am biased. I do like this team. I do. I've bled. I've cried over this team. Yeah, it's very cool what you do, and I just as a viewer of it, it's been really cool to see. Um, with your equipment and everything, just your process of filming, was there a growing process? Did you start on your phone? How did you start building a community and start posting? What was the that process like?
My first videos, my audio was so bad. My camera was always like shaking and stuff, and there are times even now that I still use my phone and don't look the best, but um I feel like it's been a whole growth progress, like not just like in terms of the equipment that I use and how I want to do my recordings, but also me in terms of more belief that I have in myself and a better
Yeah.
mindset to attack things, and also to kind of just understand the fact that whenever there's light, there's hope.
I love that. Now, at what point was it a long process before you began feeling comfortable doing it? When you first started out, was there kind of questions in your mind? Can I really do this? Like you said, you tried out the play by play, that didn't really work out. You tried a different route. Was there a thought process of maybe I can't do this, or what was the kind of internal dialogue of before people started to notice, I guess is what I'm asking.
I was wondering how all this was gonna go, and I had just moved in. Well, it was like a month or two since I moved into Massachusetts, and I was wondering also how the moving process would go in terms of my experience would be here, and I truly love to go back to Minnesota. That's my number one
Yeah.
home, but it's just that I felt like it was gonna work, but I just didn't know how.
I love that. That's awesome. And I think I relate to that a ton because when I first started doing podcasts and videos, I thought I knew what I was doing. But I look back now and just each episode, each video maybe gets a little bit better and improve it a little bit, fix the audio, fix this video and slowly and then I look back now, some of the old videos I posted 3, 4, 5 years ago, oh, they're so bad. It's hard to watch now, but I think that's a cool sign of growth where I've come a long way from where I was 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, I was 19 and you're 6 years ahead of that pace. So, um, again, it feels like you're doing the right things. What was that first moment for you? I think I first kind of noticed you this season. Was this the first season you really started putting out content?
Um, I've been doing content since the start of the 2022 season.
Okay. Okay, sweet. And what was the first moment where maybe someone big reached out or noticed or something kind of put you on their radar and you thought, "Oh, this is a cool moment for me. This is a milestone in where I want to be."
Like in terms of someone recognizing me,
Yeah, or maybe like a player retweeting or liking just a moment that sticks out to you that kind of validated, "Oh, I'm doing cool things here."
there's been quite a bit of that now that I can't remember my
Yeah,
first one, but
that's awesome. That's a good problem to have.
and I'm so grateful for all those people and players and fans that give me and the analysts that give me all the recognition that they do, and you know it's a sign of it's I have to give gratitude to the small and big things,
Yeah,
and I think as of right now, I was most excited maybe about Cam Bynum.
nice.
Um,
He's
Dalton,
awesome.
yeah, Dalton Reisner was definitely up there too. Just lots of too many things for me to count.
Yeah. That's cool. It's been cool to see you have those moments too. And I if I can offer any advice whatsoever, I think you do a great job of again thanking them and being very showing gratitude towards the people who put you on. But also I think you selfishly you've earned that. I think you've done a lot of good things. You're doing good work, so those opportunities are coming. You're not just lucking into those opportunities. You're doing great work, so people are noticing. So that there's a balance there. I think it's hard when you do what we do to kind of be selfish a little bit and think, hey, like I'm doing good work and I'm being noticed for that. So there's a healthy balance there, I think, but
Yeah.
which I think is very hard to understand. I'm struggling with it at 24. And I can't even imagine at 13. Um, so which one of those moments, or what's one moment that you are looking forward to that you think I really want this person to notice me? Almost, what's your dream guest or interview?
Well, all I really can say is, my mom taught me this so well that, you know, any like all that is eventually going to happen, you know. And I don't think that it's just luck. I think it's just the hard work and preparation meeting opportunity.
100%. 100%. Do you have that dream guest in your mind where this is going to happen one day and it's going to be awesome?
Justin Jefferson for sure.
Yes.
Um, Kirk Cousins, and just meet more players in general. Just like interview more
Yeah.
players, more analysts too.
Yeah. And are you starting to feel more comfortable now that you have gotten this more recognition from those bigger names? At first, was it almost more nerve wracking because, oh, these people are actually seeing me? I remember at one point for me, even just like in high school, I was making dumb YouTube videos. But someone who I didn't really talk to that much, but at school was like, "Hey, I saw that video, I liked it," and that was a moment for me where it clicked. I said, "Oh, other people are watching this," because there's you almost forget that, even though you see views, you see numbers, but when someone connects to you like one on one, you forget. Oh yeah, these people are watching this. Um, I forget where I was going with that, but basically, did you feel any pressure as you were getting more eyeballs on you? Did it feel like it was hard to keep the same content?
Um, Not really. Didn't really feel much
Okay.
pressure. I just know that there's some unfortunate haters that I have to deal with in person, um
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter to me whether or not they're watching.
Yeah. That's good. Cause
Whether
you yeah,
Yeah, whether or not they like my content, they're still giving me views.
exactly. That's a great mindset to have. How is it again, you're not in Minnesota anymore. Your friends, people at school, how are they are they fans of this? Again, like you said, some haters in person. How is that among your friends? Are they supportive? How's the balance there?
Some of my friends support it. Some of my friends just don't really know much about it, but it's fun
Okay.
that way.
Yeah, I think that's cool. This is your thing. And then you've mentioned your family as well, but how supportive have they been throughout this whole process?
Very supportive.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's a really important thing to have, I think, as you continue to grow this. I do want to talk just current day Vikings football because I feel like I can learn a lot from you. I think I know a lot, but I don't know as much as I think I do. Um, the biggest I want to ask you, what do you think the biggest question mark heading into this offseason is? What's step number 1 for this Vikings team that needs to get done this offseason?
Hard question right away. Okay.
Yeah.
Quarterback.
Yep.
Quarterback.
Yeah. I'm JJ, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a little nervous. I love Kirk. I do. I want him back. I'm feeling more and more like it's possible he's not back.
Yeah.
Where do you stand? Where do you think we're gonna do with Kirk? Do you want him back? Where do you stand with Kirk?
I feel the same way. I want Kirk back, but now I'm getting more and more nervous due to the signs that are pointing towards us letting him go. And unfortunately, there are teams out there that are willing to pay him the amount of money that we can't.
hmm Yeah, and
And
it feels like I'd almost I would be happy for Kirk if he gets a huge payday from another team because he's earned it. He's done so much for this team, for this franchise, that I think often, maybe before this year, went overlooked. A lot of fans didn't buy into the Kirk Cousins experience, maybe until it was too late, which is really unfortunate. Um, but he's just it's so hard to not root for a guy like Kirk Cousins. He's just genuinely a great person, and a phenomenal quarterback. You can look at all the stats, every stat he's up there. I want him back, I do, but he's up there in age. It looks
yep,
like we might be looking at quarterback in the draft. Pick number 11 is what we have right now. What do you see us doing with that pick? Do you think we stay there? Do you think we try to move up? What's your prediction? What's the JJ prediction for the draft?
I think we try to move up. I mean, we tried to do that in the previous draft. I think for Anthony Richardson,
Yeah.
but I think Justin Jefferson might have been in that trade negotiation in terms of us giving him up. So I don't want that to happen.
Never.
It doesn't matter which quarterback we're getting. I want us to have the best receiver because no matter the quarterback, he'll still ball out. As we saw him getting 193 yards, or at least 190
Yeah.
against the Lions in Week 18 with Nick Mullins as his quarterback. So I think that our best thing to do was, well, I originally thought, bring back Kirk, team friendly deal, two more years, and then uh, draft a quarterback that same year too, just so that he can sit behind Kirk, soak in the knowledge
Mhm.
for those 2 years, and then try and go start when Kirk's not here anymore. But now signs are pointing towards us getting rid of Kirk altogether.
Yeah. I think that was my dream situation. We keep Kirk and we bring someone in, let him learn behind Kirk for a little bit because Kirk feels like the quarterback that would be open to do that, to open to help a young guy learn a little bit. Where there's some veteran QBs who don't want that. They don't want a young guy behind them. They don't want to teach them. They don't want to let them learn. Um, so that's my dream situation. Is there a quarterback you have your eye on in this upcoming class? I don't know how much you've looked at the college football because obviously you're very heavy into the Vikings. Any one of those quarterbacks you're like, I would love for him to be a Minnesota Viking.
Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams, and there are other really great guys too, like Jordan Travis, Drake May,
Hmm.
JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, and guys like that. But other than quarterback, I think we also really need a physical defensive interior and
Yeah.
offensive interior. So, like in terms of linemen,
Yeah.
um, defensive interior lineman, you need a physical guy like that. Also a physical, yeah, like I said, physical offensive interior lineman, and you would also need a defensive back. We're kind of running low on that.
Yeah.
Our linebackers are aging, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting situation. I feel like this draft more than any is going to dictate how the Vikings look for the next decade. I really think it's that important of a draft because we're at this weird spot with our roster. We have some very young pieces. We have some older pieces, like the older guard with Kirk, with Harrison Smith. So it's where do we want to go with it? Do we want to go all in, get Kirk, try to win right now, or get that young piece and try to build for the next decade? It's going to be really interesting. I'm excited. One thing I want to do with you is I have multiple Vikings jerseys next to me right here. I am very superstitious when it comes to Vikings games. So I want to let you pick out the jersey that I wear on draft night, which is in April or whenever that is. So this season was tough. A lot of these jerseys failed me. They gave me losses. So blank slate. I'm going to give you three options. The first one, this is the oldest jersey I have. This is my gray Harrison Smith. I
That's
like
nice.
I like that one. Um, this is a classic. This is a baseball jersey of Justin Jefferson. There's that one. And then this one's brand new. You recognize this guy?
Oh yeah, of course.
That's my boy, Ivan Pace Jr.
You should have saved it for when he gets number zero back.
I know. I know. As soon as I got that, I go, wait, he's gonna switch to zero because Davenport might not be here. So that'll be
Yeah,
maybe it'll be like a throwback. Maybe it'll have some extra value later on.
Marcus Davenport. The thing with him is it's so weird how it seemed like a tiny ankle injury. He's out for the
Yeah,
rest of the season.
I and it was like that was our big free agent signing. It was just
And analysts are saying that he might not have that he might have commitment issues, right? Like people
yeah,
are saying that, but I just feel like to me, if we had Marcus Davenport on that field for the rest of these games, I think we might have had a lot more defensive help because the guy has potential when he can play, and um, it's just disappointing, and we
yeah.
we just handed that 13 million to him.
Yeah, I know it is because you wanna root for the guy, but also and you never want to like speculate and never I never want to be like, oh, I don't think he's that injured. You don't want to do that because you never know.
Yeah, you never
Um,
know. You never know. Yeah, yeah. I don't wanna bring him down in any way. I
yeah,
think that
yeah,
he'd have great potential when he's healthy and playing. But doesn't it just seem odd that a guy like Jordan Hicks, who had his leg cut open for like
yeah.
7 weeks, coming back sooner than an ankle injury? Like,
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, JJ. I and it was a very weird situation. I also think, given our record and the way the team was going, it maybe it wouldn't have made a difference because it just felt like a season where anything that could go wrong would go wrong. And it was the very opposite of the year before where everything that could go right went right. So I don't know. It's just a weird season altogether. Hopefully we right that ship and get some luck on our side moving forward. That'd be
And in
nice.
the his second injury, which was against the Bears, it seemed like he just hit his feet together, and it landed awkwardly. I didn't realize it was as bad as like an ankle sprain or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it's just like just so disappointing that he was out for that long. But
Yeah.
anyways, the jerseys.
Yeah, which one? We got good options. This is a big decision, JJ, because I'm going to be wearing this on the day that the Vikings draft their new quarterback. Hopefully, maybe. Could be the future.
Well, Ivan Pace Jr. Well, nah, because
Okay.
it just seems kind of irrelevant.
Okay.
Um, even though I love Ivan Pace,
Yeah.
um, I think Harrison Smith might be retired by the time the draft starts. He
So
might be.
so maybe it's like a in memoriam type, like thank you for your service type. Let's wear this to support him. Maybe.
Hmm.
It's a tough call.
But if we draft a quarterback, you could wear the Justin Jefferson jersey to show that that's the guy he's going to be throwing to.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
another.
think that's my
Okay.
final pick.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. The official JJ selection. The Justin. This is my favorite too. I love the baseball jersey. Is kind of a clean look. I like it. I will be wearing that on draft day. I'll make sure to send you a picture, let you know. Um, Hopefully we draft the future of the Vikings, the guy who's going to bring us a Super Bowl. That'd be really nice.
Yep, and I predicted that we'd draft Jordan Addison. By the way, I was a
Did you really?
yeah, I did.
Okay, then make your prediction now, right here on this show.
What? I wasn't prepared for that.
Who we can take? How about this? How about this? You make a prediction for who we take, and if you're right, I'll clip it. I'll put it out there and say, look how smart JJ is. If you're wrong, we'll forget it ever happened. I will never not hold it against you. So this is a win-win for you. You can predict a trade up too. You don't have to select at 11, whatever you want. I'll make my prediction too.
Caleb Williams.
Oh, at what pick? One?
Uh, Quasi will find a way.
Ah, I love it. I love it. I love that idea. Quasi will find a way. That's the good thing about this franchise right now. I have full total trust in what Quasi and KOC are doing. I think whatever they decide, I'm on board. Even if it doesn't make sense to me on paper, I trust them enough to think, all right, whatever they do, I'm in on. Man, it's hard to beat that prediction. Caleb Williams at one would be sweet. Um, I'm gonna say we trade up to number who's three? Is that Commanders or Patriots?
It should be the Commanders,
I
most likely, because both the Commanders and Patriots didn't even have one Pro Bowl player.
Yeah. We might need to move up to two to get our guy. I'm gonna say we move up to two. I'm gonna say we take Drake May. I think he's a very accurate passer. I think he fits the system well. I would love Michael Penix Jr. though. He's fun to watch.
But Drake
Uh,
May's a bigger guy too. He's a good runner. He's like Derrick
yeah,
Henry, but at quarterback.
yeah. Penix scares me a little bit. He's an IU guy from Indiana, so I know him a little bit more than just at Washington. But he had that two ACL tears already,
Yeah,
so that
Michael Penix. That's I've never seen a knee brace that big before in my entire
yeah.
life.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that. So I don't want to reach for him. So if we move up to two, I want to take May. I think he'd be a good fit. Hopefully that means he sits behind Kirk for a year. That'd be ideal. But if he has to play, he's got to play, and I trust our front office to figure it out. I'm excited for the draft, man. I really am.
Yeah,
Let's look forward to this weekend. So this podcast is going to come out next week, so it'll be after Championship Sunday. But I do want to talk with you a little bit about these games. We'll start with our NFC North rival, the Lions. The Lions versus the Niners. Are you on the boat of I don't want the Lions to win because they're in the NFC North, or are you in the boat of I'll root for these guys? They haven't won in a while.
What? Who would take the second option? What
Thank
Vikings
you.
fan would take the
Thank you.
second option?
JJ, this is why you're my guy. Thank you. Thank you for that. It makes I don't understand it. Vikings fans, there's a small of them who are like, yeah, I feel bad for the line. Feel bad for us. We haven't won one either. Why are we rooting for them?
Yeah, it's like that one team. Like I like it when teams win their first Super Bowl that aren't in the NFC North and that
Yes.
aren't, you know, teams that have had bad history with us in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what I want to say is, in terms of the NFL, people say all the time, scripted, scripted, scripted. But what I do want to say is, I think we're gonna get a Ravens and Niners Super Bowl. That's what I think.
Oh, oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I have I hope you're not into this world at all. I'm not condoning these actions, but I have a rather large bet on the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. So I'm rooting for the
Rather
Ravens.
large.
I win rather large. So because I placed it a long time ago, but plug your ears. I don't want you into this world. It's a slippery, slippery slope. Never gamble. Never gamble in your life, JJ. Good. Um, but yeah, I would like the Ravens to win as well. That'll be a tough game though. Ravens. I mean, you can never count Mahomes out ever. Especially even though he's on the road, it just always feels like he's going to be in it late, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
It'll be so. I would like Ravens Niners as well. It fits the logo. I'm sure you've seen the logo
yeah,
colors
that whole
thing.
thing.
Which
But
next
those
year,
things were selected before the season, though, so that really like tells you
that
something.
yeah. Hey, and next year though, it's purple and green.
But it's
Could
like, oh yeah,
Jets?
sorry,
I
continue.
could be Jets Vikings.
Yeah, and we could win.
And we take down Aaron Rodgers for our first Super Bowl. Can you imagine?
Oh, the cheers, the
Oh,
happiness.
what a moment! What a moment! Wow. What's your opinion on Aaron Rodgers?
I'm not gonna say my opinion as a fan. Um, uh, People call him goofy,
Yeah, yeah. I uh I would agree there. I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan. I don't like the guy.
but I did hear a story at Cal about how his teacher said like he'd never be an NFL player, and he rose up, did that. I like that about him, but
Yeah,
just like his kind of attitude is just really, really like goofy.
yeah.
He
I
showed up
like.
to the. I remember he showed up to one training camp as like Nicolas Cage, I think. With that, he was able to pull that off. That looked good. That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I like that goofy because it doesn't give him a bunch of credibility. He's just a goofy guy sometimes. All right, I kind of want to wrap up here. A few rapid fire questions, and then a question I kind of ask everybody. But first, we'll more on the prediction train. Um, when do the Minnesota Vikings finally get our Super Bowl? What year? When is it?
Next,
Realistically, you think it's
next
that?
year.
You think we can get it? I think we can.
No, but the question that I have for the NFL is, how do you guys make it happen? Like, how do you guys get those teams to the Super Bowl? Like, how do you do that? Like, they're human and they can make decisions that could either make them win the game or lose the game. So if the NFL is scripted, how do they get the teams there? How do they do that?
It would be very impressive if they came out and said, "Yeah, we made this happen," because there's so much at work. There's so many players. There's so many decisions. So many calls. Like it would be honestly more impressive for it to be scripted than unscripted because I don't see a way they could pull that off. No matter how many times it feels like they are working behind the scenes to make it happen. It would be impressive.
Yeah, it really
Um. All right, favorite Minnesota Viking of all time at this moment.
like favorite Minnesota Viking of all time. You're asking a 13-year-old that question?
Your favorite, your personal, JJ's favorite.
The other JJ,
Love that answer. All right,
Jefferson.
along those lines, finish this line. Justin Jefferson is a top blank receiver of all time.
of all time, like all time, all
All
time.
to all time. I have a crazy answer here.
You're gonna say one, aren't you?
Nope. Close though.
Okay.
Close.
Uh, 7.
Okay, I like that. Could you name the other ones? I put him at 4. I think Jerry Rice, I think Randy Moss, and I think Calvin Johnson. And I'll
Okay,
put
he
him at
might actually. I'm gonna say 5 then. 5.
Oh, okay. All right.
5.
I like that. Dude, I he is a generational talent. Um you never really got to see Adrian Peterson play. I caught him towards the back end of his career. I have his jersey actually hanging up in my studio. He felt different every time he could control a game. Justin Jefferson's the first player I've seen since him that can just take over a game like that. And it's really cool to see. All right, last question I want to wrap up with for you. This is a question I ask everyone who comes on this podcast. It's not Vikings related, not football related, um, but you can answer this however you want. But what gets you up in the morning? What's your motivation each day to keep going, keep doing your thing?
First of all, I wake up and then I kind of just give my gratitude whenever I wake up. I'm grateful that I woke up, and I'm grateful that I'm able to experience another day. Like life is just so much of a gift. It's just something that I've learned so much to cherish and not to worry so much about the little things, because I already know there's someone else fighting that battle for me. And uh I just feel like that is what really motivates me, regardless of what happens especially in football. They used to control me so much, but now it's just that, you know, am I alive? Yes. So there's hope, right? So whenever there's life, there's hope. And I'm just so grateful to be able to be. I'm grateful for every day I'm alive and well and able to do this content with you and with everyone else, and to be able to show my skills. That I'm grateful so much, so very grateful that God gave me these skills.
Dude, that's a rock star answer perspective to have. I ask this question a lot, and some people just say coffee, which is fair too. Some people just need caffeine to wake up. I hope you're not on the caffeine train yet. Um,
Never. I tried. I actually tried a sip of it once, and I hacked it. I hacked it up like I just went. Ugh, I just coughed it, spit it out.
I'll come back in like 5 years and I'll see if your answer's still the same because I was that way too, but now I'm a coffee guy. But no, I think that's a really cool perspective to have. There's no doubt in my mind you are going to continue to do awesome things with the perspective you have, the team you have behind you, just supporting you. It's really cool to see. I'm a big fan. So again, thank you so much for coming on. Do you want to let people know where they should follow you, what to see from you coming forward as we obviously move into the off season?
Well, as we move into the off season, I'm gonna be doing a lot more content. Maybe not a lot more considering it's the off season, but there's gonna be a lot more news about signings and roster moves in general. Where you guys can find me though, JJ Vikings on YouTube, JJ Vikings on Twitter, JJ Vikings on Instagram, on Facebook, and even on TikTok. I don't really use TikTok that much. I'm not the biggest fan of TikTok, I have to admit, which is why I don't actually. I partly manage that account, but
Yeah.
there's still going to be content on there too. But if you guys want to know though, this may not be of as much interest, but I also have a second channel where I do edits and gaming called JJ Vikings Edits and Gaming. So I have that channel
Nice.
too, and I'm gonna be uploading on a lot more of that too, with like your normal Madden games and stuff like that,
Nice.
uh, and also football edits. But what I do want to say is I appreciate each and every one of you that stood by me, and including you.
I got you,
Um,
man.
yeah, and just so grateful to be alive. It's Friday,
Let's
and
go.
love it, love it. Happy
Awesome, man.
Friday.
Again, thanks so much for coming on. I truly appreciate it. And I'm so stoked to see what you do next. It gets me excited. Talking to people like you gets me reinvigorated and gets me excited to keep doing what I do. So, again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And um, sometimes it's So sometimes I can't believe it's me getting such big compliments like that, and um, my
You've
mom
earned
always
it.
tells me,
Yeah, you've earned it. You've earned it.
every day, JJ, you know how many text messages I get from friends and family about how awesome you are. Just remember that anytime you have a bad day, And I definitely have had some bad days. I'm still human, but just able to push through with the fact that people support me.